Hey,
Okay.
Chris Bergen here with Damian Kinsella at Art Tehachapi 2025. And Damian, I'm glad you kept it small this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
great job on this piece. Why don't you tell us what you were thinking about as you set this up?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not entirely certain. I was thinking when I set this up because this was a lot to lug, but basically, what really went into this is a visit to the Milano Ranch outside of Cummings Valley. Jack Palance, the cowboy actor, used to own it, and they had this great red barn with these really majestic elk skulls. Might be Thule, might be Roosevelt, not entirely certain. But I liked it so much I had to come home and create a scale model of it um, in my studio. And so I aged the background. I cut out a panel that was the same shape and mounted a skull on it and put a light fixture on it that was a little bit different, but it was the way I wanted it. And then we even carried some of those details into the way it was framed. Brent Bradley, wonderful carpenter, helped me carry out my vision for the frame and really wanted something that evoked power and stillness and almost that you'd be able to sit back and look at it. And if you listen closely, you could hear the little taps on the lantern of the moths and in a kind of a summer afternoon kind of summer evening kind of way. So
I love that you're talking about process because process is huge with you. And of the many times we've talked about how you look at a piece and how you start a piece, tell us as you were laying this all out, how much of it was direct observation on your maquette that you made and how much of it was out of your head?
I get to a certain percentage of a painting that everything after it is out of my head, figuratively and literally. Um, but what I get to is I get to a point where I say, okay, you've observed enough. Really, what I'm observing for is the depth that I want for the just the distance, and because obviously doing a still life against any still life that's mounted against a wall, what you're trying to do is you're trying to really nail that very short depth correctly with your tone and your color. And then after that, I started to decide, okay, I've done enough of that. Now I want to take the next 40% and get a little creative with how I want to, where I want to place certain details and where I want to pull the eye to. And that even carried in through the framing, carrying the craftsman style to the plinth blocks, the way that the painting was originally organized. I wanted to have a gravity that kind of pulled out um, and just had a weight to it.
Perfect. What advice would you give to young artists that are coming to see this show this year, and in particular your piece? How would you describe getting started the way that you got started? How would you describe for them their own process? What would you recommend?
I would recommend that they become people who love art more than anything else.
There you go.
That they find artists that inspire them and excite them, things that they, subjects that they're obsessive about, become an obsessive. Art is really acceptably, it's acceptably obsessive behavior, is what art is. And so push into that. It doesn't really matter what's popular or what sells. If that's your guideline, or if your guideline is getting people's praise or attention, you're not going to go very far. So I would really encourage people, just become a bit of an obsessive about what really gets you excited to create or to represent, and go deep on it. Find artists who have been dead for hundreds of years. Find artists that are current. See how it start to see the connections and how it ties together, and just really pursue what you love. And who knows? Maybe money will follow that. Maybe recognition will follow it. But
Good.
don't do it for any of that. Just do it because you love it. That's what I would suggest.
I appreciate you,
Yeah.
man. This is a fantastic piece. All
Thank
right.
you.